Highlights of Miles Guo's live broadcast from April 23, 2020 to May 1, 2020. 7 Foundational Principles of New China. 1. To give the amnesty to all Chinese political prisoners, CCP entitled corruption prisoners and other criminals who committed a light crime, according to the new Chinese law, including some of those in the Qiancheng prison, where the CCP former high-ranking officials accused of corruption are imprisoned. 2. To privatize the land resources under the new constitution and protect private property vigorously under the new law. 3. To build and execute the one-person, one-vote electoral system and based on it, to create a new Chinese constitution under the supervision and monitoring of international law, international society, rule of law foundation AMP, rule of law society. 4. To create independent and internationally recognized legal system and standards. 5. Return all the assets and properties, illegally deprived by CCP from the private business owners and individuals. With the help of other countries, all the assets that belong to the Chinese people yet got transferred outside China, hiding in the West, must get back to the Chinese people. 6. Under the supervision of the international society and governments, to ensure security and personal freedom of movement for those dissident overseas Chinese who plan to return to China at any time. 7. Under international recognition and supervision, the new Chinese constitution will give amnesty to majority of the ordinary CCP members, and the small number of top CCP officials with serious crime must also be convicted through public trial before the grand jury. USA starts to eliminate CCP officially. Recently, I strongly feel like only CCP in the world can make so many elites fled from China, their motherland, as a result of CCP's corruption, incompetence, greed and cruelty against its people and properties. Many of these elites have become the backbone of our whistleblower movement. Yesterday, many of you noticed President Trump's Rose Garden speech. Here is the takeaway. 1. It is the first time the U.S. made an official state statement against CCP. This is a very big deal. 2. Combined with the recent series of speeches delivered by Mr. Bannon, Secretary of State, Mr. Pompeo, Senate Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell, National Security Advisor, Peter Navarro, and Senator Cotton, etc., the signal is clear. The U.S. Congress legislators and the White House officially kicked off the formal procedure to eliminate the CCP by American and international law. 3. The initial class action lawsuit claim, backed by the U.S. government, is expected to be ignored by CCP. The follow-up actions include freezing and seizing various assets, real estate, funds, etc., that the CCP government and its agents, CCP government officials illegally transferred from China to the U.S., CCP's investment in the U.S. Treasury bonds, the assets of China's state-owned institutions in the U.S., and the trillions of dollars in assets held by senior CCP government officials in SBC, UBS, etc. At the same time, along with the class action, the swiftest way to punish CCP is to implement the Hong Kong Protection Law and Taiwan Protection Law passed by Congress in 2019. By then, the RMB will become worthless, and the Hong Kong dollar will disappear. The Rose Garden speech also created a tsunami, under which led by the United States, to destroy the CCP. Along with the tsunami, our Rule of Law Foundation and Rule of Law Society will continue to work tirelessly until we all witness the collapse of the CCP on June 4, 2020. Per agreement, I have to reserve some secrets until May 25. We are making great history and the moment is now. Opinion about President Trump's Rose Garden speech. Many people asked my opinion about President Trump's Rose Garden speech this week. I will say a few more words here. My guess is that the U.S. government will file a $20 trillion compensation claim against the CCP. If CCP does not respond or refuse, the U.S. government will surely seal and freeze all the assets of all CCP state senior officials, including their illegitimate children, hidden in the U.S. or other countries. Our GTV and Gnews have created a historical record on the purchase of our G digital currency in the past 2 weeks, and most importantly, the majority of the buyers actually come from China. In the future, without the CCP firewall, we will represent the market with 1.4 billion Chinese people. The global satellite wireless Wi-Fi will be available to access in the second half of this year. At that time, Chinese people can access the internet through the wireless Wi-Fi to know what is going on in the world, and the truth of it. It is estimated that 300 to 400 million Chinese will use and watch GTV and News by then. Our G digital currency has 3 unique characteristics: 1. The gold standard anchored. 2. Super point-to-point encryption practice. 3. Based on mutual trust among users. It is a typical application of the blockchain technology. After our Rule by Law Foundation has the pooled funds in trillions of dollars on this platform, we can cooperate with many famous institutions in the world to ensure the smooth transition of a new China without CCP, and bring it to a new era of freedom, democracy, and the rule of law, in a more efficient and effective way. CCP kleptocrats, listen up. Those CCP oversee Special Hunting Amp, execution group members, I know your secret mission to the US, as my CCP inside informers told me that you are planning to execute suicide bombs in the US against me, Mr. Steve Bannon, Mr. Luda, and other core leaders of the whistleblow movement. We also know your other missions as to carry out the prevention and assassination of those senior scientists who just fled from the Wuhan P4 lab, to Europe and the US, who are ready to join the hearing in front of the US Congress, exposing how CCP has been working to perform genetic modification on the special coronavirus, and making biochemical weapons to face up with the US. You want to use your overseas propaganda machines to divert the world's attention to hold the CCP accountable. Your attempts to save CCP will be surely doomed. In the future, there will be many of such scientists from such P4 laboratories coming to the US. Can you stop all of them? Will your efforts to paint them as crazy scientists work? I don't think the Americans and the West are that stupid. Our whistleblow movement is definitely not only just to expose the top secrets of CCP, we also take various serious actions. We have all kind of top talents in China and the world. We in the US. Government law enforcement agencies rely on each other's information, and for our mutual benefits, we provide necessary assistance to each other, yet we will never rely on, depend on anyone, any agency, nor be subject to, nor trade with any agency. Relation with the USA. CIA and FBI have their own strengths, but from 9/11 tragedy and the CCP virus pandemic intelligence collection, it is obvious that they also have their own limitations. Even worse, they may also have CCP spy inside them. This time, we rely on our own resources to help these senior scientists from the Wuhan P4 laboratory, escaping from China to Europe, the US and other parts of the world, all of which proves that we have unique capabilities and resources to achieve our desired goals. Trump re-election. A report from South China Morning Post goes that CCP has no intention to meddle the presidential race of United States, while President Trump starts to take serious consideration of CCP meddling against his election. CNBC, a news media tends to keep silence on CCP, starts to brief make CCP accountable. The voice against CCP comes as a volcanic eruption in contrast to petty actions betrayed by fraud from CCP as striking a match. Think about their China experience in fighting against the plague, One Belt One Road, the Made in China 2025, and earlier, the Great Leap Forward. What are they now? Hong Kong. Since last May, the toll resulting from abnormal death in Hong Kong has exceeded 10,000, on which CCP shamelessly claimed it was reasonable. Also, CCP is about to overturn the memberships of some in the LegCo in an alleged legitimate way. Jimmy Sham, Jimmy Lai, Anson Chan, decent people with conscience throughout Hong Kong have been blackmailed or libeled. What a stone-cold shame for Chinese people. A storm of blood against CCP is about to come. Members in the anti-expose group or emergency group of CCP, you'd better drop the bloody knives against our battle buddies, or you won't be on the list of pardoning when all is over. Everything has already started. Thanks for watching.